Welcome to our U.S. Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of global politics and media shifts. First up, Donald Trump's UN speech caught everyone's attention, not for what he said, but for how he said it. His confident body language and dominant gestures reveal he's still asserting his authority on the world stage, even if delegates are watching him more cautiously now. Next, Trump's recent comments on Ukraine are stirring the pot. He's now suggesting Ukraine could reclaim all its territory to pressure Russia, but without concrete plans like sanctions or military aid. It's a diplomatic chess move, with some seeing it as a way to push negotiations, while others think it's more about distancing from the ongoing conflict. And finally, in the tech world, YouTube is making headlines by reinstating some accounts that were previously banned for spreading misinformation about COVID-19 and the 2020 election. This relaxation of content rules reflects a broader trend of Silicon Valley balancing free speech with misinformation concerns, sparking debates on censorship and political influence. Please continue to watch for the detailed stories. Deutsche Welle reports that Donald Trump's presence at the UN General Assembly has evolved from being a source of amusement to a demonstration of seriousness and dominance. During his recent speech, he managed to elicit a rare chuckle over a broken teleprompter but was otherwise met with silence and stern expressions from world leaders, signaling a shift in global perception. Body language expert Peter Collett observes that Trump now projects himself as the top dog, using deliberate gestures, slow movements, and authoritative postures to assert dominance and rally his base, even when making incendiary remarks about immigration or criticizing the UN. His body language and facial expressions are carefully crafted to convey confidence and control, reinforcing his image as a commanding leader, which other delegates seem to respond to with cautious respect rather than amusement. CNN highlights Trump's recent strategic repositioning on Ukraine, aimed at pressuring Vladimir Putin into negotiations without committing to concrete actions like sanctions or military aid. His public declaration that Ukraine could reclaim all its territory marks a notable shift from previous cautious stances, but U.S. officials remain uncertain whether this will translate into tangible diplomatic progress. Trump's frustration with Putin's reluctance to meet Zelensky reflects his personal disappointment, and his reluctance to escalate U.S. involvement underscores a cautious approach that emphasizes economic measures, such as tariffs, rather than direct military support. This nuanced stance appears designed to both pressure Russia and distance himself from the ongoing conflict, revealing a complex balancing act amid the broader geopolitical tensions. South China Morning Post discusses Trump's UN speech as a potential signal of a strategic pivot in U.S. foreign policy, particularly toward China and Russia. While criticizing Russia's war effort and threatening tariffs, Trump's tone toward China was notably restrained, possibly indicating a tactical shift to avoid escalating tensions. Beijing perceives Trump's comments as an attempt to weaken Moscow rather than forge a closer alliance with China, which remains wary of U.S. intentions. Experts suggest that China-Russia relations are deeply rooted and resilient, unaffected by U.S. rhetoric, and that Beijing continues to pursue pragmatic diplomacy and economic ties. Trump's silence on U.S.-China relations during the speech hints at a cautious approach, possibly to preserve ongoing trade negotiations, and reflects a nuanced U.S. strategy aimed at balancing pressure on Russia while avoiding unnecessary conflict with Beijing. CNN reports that YouTube is planning to reinstate accounts that were previously banned for spreading misinformation about COVID-19 and the 2020 U.S. presidential election. This decision marks a shift in the platform's content moderation policies, reflecting a broader trend among Silicon Valley giants to loosen restrictions amid political pressure from conservative voices. Notably, accounts linked to vaccine skeptics and controversial political figures, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Senator Ron Johnson, faced enforcement actions in the past, but now they may return to the platform. YouTube's move, which emphasizes free expression and recognizes the importance of conservative voices in civic discourse, comes in the wake of similar relaxations by Meta and Elon Musk's X. The platform also subtly criticizes the Biden administration, suggesting that government efforts to influence content removal were inappropriate, asserting that YouTube enforces its policies independently while resisting political interference. Deutsche Welle highlights Russia's stance on the ongoing Ukraine conflict, asserting that Moscow sees no alternative but to continue its military operations. The Kremlin spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, dismissed claims that Ukraine could recapture Russian-occupied territories, emphasizing that Russia's military efforts are justified and aligned with national interests. Meanwhile, Russia's economic strategies include proposing a VAT increase to 22% by 2026 to fund the war effort, despite signs of strain in civilian sectors and inflation pressures. The Kremlin also maintains that the war is not aimless but a response to Western security concerns, rejecting allegations that Russia is a paper tiger and asserting its resilience despite economic challenges. Additionally, the article details incidents such as a Spanish military jet experiencing GPS jamming near Kaliningrad and Ukraine's drone attacks on Russian infrastructure, underscoring the escalating tensions and ongoing military engagements in the region. The CNN coverage delves into Donald Trump's unpredictable stance on Ukraine, illustrating how his recent remarks have swung between supporting Ukraine's maximalist territorial ambitions and expressing skepticism about a swift resolution. Trump's latest statements suggest that Ukraine could potentially reclaim all its occupied territory, a significant shift from earlier positions that downplayed Ukrainian resilience. However, his comments also reveal a desire for the war to continue until Russia's economy falters, and he hints at a cautious approach toward sanctions and military support. Trump's rhetoric, including calls for NATO to shoot down Russian jets and his ambiguous trust in Vladimir Putin, complicates the diplomatic landscape. His fluctuating stance underscores the unpredictable nature of U.S. policy, leaving Ukraine and its allies uncertain about future American support, while Moscow closely monitors Trump's statements for signs of potential shifts that could influence the course of the conflict. Nikkei Asia reports a remarkable victory for the Mansfield Fellowship Program, a unique two-year initiative that immerses U.S. government employees in Japanese language and culture, fostering deeper bilateral understanding. Originally established in 1994, the program faced potential extinction due to the Trump administration's budget cuts, which targeted numerous international exchange initiatives. However, thanks to the persistent efforts of Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi, who was instrumental in conceptualizing the program 3 decades ago, and the strong personal ties between Japanese Ambassador Shigeo Yamada and U.S. officials like Darren Beatty, the program's funding was ultimately restored. This success story highlights how dedicated diplomacy and personal relationships can preserve vital cultural exchanges, with alumni like David Bowling emphasizing the life-changing impact of working alongside Japanese officials. The program's survival ensures that a new generation of U.S. diplomats continues to develop critical expertise in Japan, reinforcing the enduring importance of bilateral ties at a time when global diplomacy faces numerous challenges. Deutsche Welle details South Korea's ambitious yet contentious push to reform its constitution under President Lee Jae-myung, aiming to extend presidential terms from 5 to 8 years and synchronize election cycles for greater policy continuity. The proposed changes, including a 2-round runoff voting system and amendments to rights issues and North Korea policies, are part of a broader effort to modernize governance and reduce political instability caused by the current out-of-sync electoral system. Despite public support, over 60% favoring reforms, significant obstacles remain, including opposition resistance and the need for a 2/3 parliamentary majority and a national referendum. Critics warn that South Korea's democracy remains vulnerable to authoritarian tendencies, with powerful institutions and vested interests wary of losing influence. Nonetheless, advocates like former politician Kim Dae-jung believe these reforms could fundamentally distribute power more equitably across government, fostering a more accountable and responsive democracy, provided that the political will and public backing sustain the effort. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Great dragon rapes ancient streets, leading change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all in play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course, marching strong with mighty force. Whoa. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. growth and peace. Ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew. Nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west and knowledge door. Complex world they navigate. China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play. Future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course. Marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea. Voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace. Ambitions, their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea. Voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace. Ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew. Nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate. China's power never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew. Nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate. China's